So, believe it or not, this is the third video, that we are making about this player. Last time we talked about him as the potential Montreal Canadiens target, because rumors were circulating that the Habs had their eyes on this guy, and then 2 videos ago we made the Why I Want video talking about him and his WHL success. But today, we are making the obvious video, as we bring the conversation from Montreal to Calgary and ask whether or not the Flames should draft Tij Iginla in the 2024 NHL Draft. Now, full disclosure, I am making this video partly because of a few things. One, there was an article published on the Hockey Writers by Derek Olson asking if the Flames should draft Tij Iginla. And then number 2, this article was indeed posted onto the Calgary Flames sub, which is where it got my attention, and I was like, okay, you know what, that's an easy video topic, like that's the easiest one to go out there and make when it comes to prospects in this year's draft. So, let's talk today about Tij Iginla and whether or not the Flames could see a legendary name don the back of that red sweater once more. Now, when it comes to the scouting report, if you want the extended look, the Why I Want video does exist. It goes over the entire profile and everything you need to know. Long story short, though, Tij Iginla's pretty good. He's one of the youngest forwards in the NHL draft this season at 6 feet 185 and a left-handed shot. And playing for the Kelowna Rockets this year, he scored himself 83 points in 62 games played and 47 goals. Make no mistake about it, this guy is an offensive threat, and when you watch Tij Iginla play, it's kind of obvious that he is Jarome Iginla's son. With the tenacity that he displays when he doesn't have the puck, the forechecking, the board battles, Tij Iginla can do it all, pretty much. But there are some questions as to whether or not his style will really translate, if he's got what it takes to develop his offense and make that translate to higher levels of play. But for Tij Iginla, obviously there's a conversation to have as to whether or not the Calgary Flames should take him. So let's go over to the article published on the Hockey Writers by Derek Olson and go over what he writes about in regards to what the benefits of another Iggy could look like. It seems like destiny is speaking to the hockey world. Dust off those Iginla jerseys. Iginla Sr. still stands as the Flames' all-time leader in games played, goals, and points, among many other categories. For what it's worth, he put up 33 goals and 71 points in his draft year in the WHL for the storied Kamloops Blazers. The younger Iginla shattered those numbers a while back and still has 4 games to go. We're not saying son is better than the father, but it's obvious that he's learned a thing or two from Pops. Tij is noted for his amazing goal scoring and general offensive capabilities, something the Flames currently struggle with. He's adept at creating his own offense, sitting 8th in the WHL with .767 goals per game, and 5th in the league with 294 shots. Interestingly, he does most of his damage at even strength, as he's scored just 16 points in the power play. He would immediately become the Flames' best forward prospect, as last year's first-rounder Sam Honzek continues to struggle. Now that's a pretty alright report, it pretty much just says, hey, he's a good player. But the next paragraph goes into another argument. The other aspect necessary for decision-making stems from a business standpoint. Drafting Iginla will get more people to watch Flames hockey, and more importantly, put butts in seats at the organization's new arena. The franchise will be in a bit of a hole when it comes to the development of new guys, and could use a draw like this. After all, what better way to christen a new era of Flames hockey than to have another generation of Iginla carry the torch? Jarome could announce the pick of the draft himself. Season ticket holders would rejoice. Jersey sales and merchandise would skyrocket as parents could purchase Iginla Jr. threads for their kids to pair with their number 12 Flames jerseys. After restocking the defensive prospect cupboards via trade, the team desperately needs to draft a high-impact forward prospect. Tij would fit the bill and be given the best possible opportunities to succeed with the Flames. If he can become even half of what his father was, his selection will be worthwhile. And that's a pretty interesting idea too. The business standpoint, the politics, how good it would look for the Calgary Flames to draft this guy. Never mind the extraordinarily high expectations that will automatically be placed upon him, you know it's guaranteed. But from a marketing standpoint, it would make sense, and when it comes to what the Flames need, you could also say it makes sense. They just got a whole bunch of defensemen the past few weeks or so. Hunter Brustevich, Yoni Yermo, Miramanov. They claimed Hanley on waivers. They're getting a lot of guys in return for their expiring UFAs. So maybe they need some forward prospects as much as they need anything else. Tij Iginla would definitely add a good element in that. There is, though, a good argument against, and the article goes out there and talks about it I mean, it goes over other options, it asks whether or not any of the other WHL guys are also noteworthy to take. Also, like, would the team and fans be as interested in Iginla if he had a different last name? Probably not. It would make for a very feel-good story, that much is true, but ownership and hardcore fans want success and not much else. Is Iginla the best choice available for the on-ice product? And so, while this article does go over all the crazy good stuff that could happen if Iginla gets drafted by the Flames, it does rationalize why it wouldn't necessarily be the best idea, and I noticed that a lot of Flames fans on the R-Flames sub said similar things. If he's the best player available when it's the Flames' turn to draft, then yes, you pick him. If there's a better player available, then no. Then there's another reply saying, maybe there's value in drafting players that actually want to play here. Maybe he doesn't want to, though. At the end of the day, he's an Iginla, so it probably doesn't matter, but there would be extra pressure coming to Calgary for sure. There are some that are a little bit contentious, but still open to it as well, unless someone much better falls to the Flames draft position, and assuming Jerome and Connie have talked about it with him and he's okay with it, I think you have to take him. Imagine Makar and Iggy Smalls in the same team as a new arena opens. The Emilio Pettersson trade highlighted how shallow our prospects group center depth is. I'd rather see the Flames target someone there. Regarding the legacy and the reputation of the name, I'm sure that Tij, Jerome, and the draft team are going to work together with the player to decide if the fit is right. If he doesn't want to live with all that pressure in Calgary, that's completely fair. But if Carter Yakimchuk or Zayne Parekh do fall, it would be tempting to draft them. But Connor's focus on trading for defensive prospects indicates to me that they aren't really targeting defensemen at the draft. Not gonna lie, Carter Yakimchuk would be really hard to pass up. I doubt he drops to 10+. Now, when it comes to the drafting position, this is the one aspect that I wanted to leave till the end of the video. Tij Iginla, at the time of recording this audio, is currently ranked in the, let's just say, mid-teens. His consolidated ranking is 14th. The lowest ranking on here is 23 by future considerations. There are a bunch of other outlets, though, that have him in the 10, 11, 12 range, and then even more that have him in the 14, 15, 16 spot. So when you go over to the Tankathon list and see where the Calgary Flames are, right now they have themselves roughly the 12th overall pick in the NHL draft, which would be right in line to take a guy like Tij Iginla if they were to go that route. This draft position fits pretty well. And with, 15 games left in the NHL season and 71 points, there is a pretty realistic chance that the Flames settle around this spot. I don't really see them overtaking too many teams. I mean, if Detroit keeps on losing, sure, the Flames could go down to 13th overall and overtake them, but they're still 3 points behind. They're also 3 points ahead of Seattle and Pittsburgh, so there may be a little bit of complacency with the current draft position. You have to start thinking about guys in the 10 to 15 range. And the best part about that is, Tij Iginla fits right in there. Like, if you took him 12th overall, that would be right in line with where a lot of these projections have him. It wouldn't be a reach, it wouldn't be, oh, you're praying that he drops over to Calgary. This would just be a merely appropriate pick. But of course, we had been hearing some other conversations as to whether or not teams like the Montreal Canadiens, for example, are very interested in Iginla. That was the video we made a few weeks ago, because apparently word came out that they might be targeting him, and the Habs are drafting 7th overall in this year's draft, or at least that's what their current projection is right now. They could get a little bit better, they could get a little bit worse. But if Craig Conroy really decides, hey, that's going to be our guy, Tij is coming to Calgary, we're getting another Iginla, that is going to be our process here, you just kind of have to make sure that some of the other teams above you are not going to jump to the bit first, and that includes Montreal. Just think about it. Having a first line in the future of whatever center you're going to be able to get, maybe Igor Sharangovich stays there, who really knows. Having Coronado and Iginla playing together sounds like a really good pair in my opinion. They'd be super tough to play off against when they didn't have the puck, and in the offensive zone, they could just make things happen. The skill, the dangling, the powerful shooting, it seems like a pretty good match in my mind, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you feel the same. But in general, what are your opinions about the idea of the Calgary Flames drafting Tij Iginla? If there's a range where you feel that would be an acceptable conversation to have, let me know in the comments. Do you not start thinking about Tij Iginla if you're a Calgary Flames fan until, let's say, the 11th or 12th or 13th overall pick? If the Flames start losing a little bit more and they end up drafting 9th, would you be okay with Iginla there? Or is that a little bit too much of a reach? There's a lot of nuance to having these conversations, but let me know your thoughts in the comments as to whether or not you feel another Iginla should be suiting up with the Calgary Flames in this year's draft. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.